Alright, it's time, yet again, to go to another dimension. So, this is all pre-killing Hardin, so we've still got the spheres and whatnots. Though that being said, oh wow. Sorry, I just noticed I was using Athena by this point. As I was about to say, this is the point of the game in which you're gonna see characters kinda drop off if I don't use them as much. I basically promote who I can, and then some characters just kinda fall off, unfortunately. Because despite the fact that I'm only using women for this file, there's still enough characters where I have more than enough for my team, and some of them are kinda left out. Of course, there's also the fact that sometimes I have to use Julian to open chests, which is annoying. But other than that, yeah, Sada's actually gonna fall way off, because I've got much better Pegasus Knights. I like Sada and all, but God, Paula exists. Anyway, though, yeah, the ratio is clearly skewed towards male characters rather than female characters, but even so, even in this remake of an SNES game, I've still got plenty to use. Variety could be a little bit better, though. We've got a lot of Myrmidons. I would say a few mages, except that's only due to the fact that I'm here. Other than that, the only other mage is Katarina, who's new to the game. So yeah, a lot of Myrmidons, couple mages, a lot of Pegasus Knights. Gee, there are just so many Pegasus Knights. Not a lot of standard axe users, though. That's kind of Minerva's niche at this point. Yeah, that was kind of a little patronizing, self-insert, come on. Oh yeah, so, here's the part where we murder Graw soldiers and really piss off Shima and Samson. So, yeah, here's us just killing them. Shima does actually stay on the throne. Yeah, she's really not happy. I didn't actually try fighting her without killing someone. She probably has a different battle quote, but I didn't bother with it. So yeah, we murdered Shima. Obviously that's not permanent, just like with Katarina. I'm not letting that be a permanent decision because, that's basically, my summary on the situation of leaving someone dead, especially if I like them. Alright, so do I show off the fact that the next scene doesn't change? No, I don't. The next scene doesn't change. I believe I mentioned this in the playthrough proper, but yeah, it's kind of made to fit either killing Shima or not killing Shima, but we actually can screw ourselves out of getting Shima if we kill a soldier after recruiting these two. And, fun fact, this was not a thing that could happen in the original SNES version, and if I remember correctly, you can also just have Shima and Samson kill their own people to level grind slightly. I'm glad you can't do that anymore, because that's fucked up. Anyway, Paula and Est, here they are. It's clearly the seconds. It's only happened twice. I keep saying that Est was cool in Shadow Dragon, but nobody really noticed, and then after that, because she's the youngest sister, she just keeps getting kidnapped again. I mean, they do kind of make it into a character point for her, if this conversation wasn't anything to go by, which it is. Anyway, I'm gonna stop being confusing now. Yes, this support conversation is clearly showing off the fact that, yeah, S feels bad about that. So this is actually the map of Chapter 19 without the Wolf Guard, because you can kill them in the previous chapter. And if you do, well, at least Rosha, you don't get him here, and instead you just get this random villager saying, yeah, he's fucking dead now. And you want to know what our replacement for Rosha is? It's a vulnerary, so clearly nowhere near as good. Okay, so I got this, of course, from How's Everyone, because I'm not using Thomas ever. So while this support conversation is happening, I forget if I mentioned this in the main file, but I did end up getting the bad ending, even though I said I wouldn't. It wasn't fun, and I did realize that I kind of had to cheat if I wanted to get it properly. Well, semi-properly, I guess, if I did cheat. But, yeah, I did get the Geosphere, and I saved afterwards. So, I did say that the Geosphere was, like, what was it, the last easily missable thing? Because you can still miss the Life Sphere, and I did, except I didn't realize, in order to skip the Life Sphere, I basically had to kill the Wolf Guard, because I wasn't getting to the end of the chapter on foot or whatever. But then I realized something else that was more important. I have a majority flyer team against an enemy army with a lot of bow users. So that wouldn't have gone over well. Meaning, I had to cheat to give myself control of the enemies so I could just have them waste their turns and then kill them all. And I just did that until the end of the game. Thankfully, the game ended a few chapters early because, oh my god, it was so boring to have to play the game with an enemy under your control. It's not fun because you're just killing things and there's no thought whatsoever in terms of like strategy. I mean, like, if you do something like play chess by yourself and you play against yourself, theoretically speaking, you don't care which side wins. You just want to play to counter yourself repeatedly. I wasn't even doing that here, of course. In this instance, it was just me trying to make the game go by faster, and it technically did. Technically, I beat it in less time than I would have playing it normally. But it was so damn boring, so it felt like it took forever. So if you're watching this in the future and, you know, not in the proper playlist order, hi, if you're wondering why it took so long for the bonus episodes to come out, I did kind of burn myself out on the game by doing that. But you know what? I had to repeat those chapters anyway, because I couldn't save after killing the Wolf Guard and missing the Life Sphere. So that was fun. Oh yeah, and since I'm already talking over this conversation anyway, by the way, I could have actually accidentally accessed the Gaiden chapter from time because I was cheating and making everything go by very quickly. So obviously I just stuck around for a few turns to not do that because, dear God, I did not want to do another damn chapter. And I don't think I could have cheated in that one because there's Fog of War, meaning I couldn't find the enemies to take control of them and just make them waste their turn. So I would have had to do that normally anyway. Even still, I just wanted to go back and do the game normally. God. Anyway, that's nice. Minerva is as supportive of the White Wings as always. I mean, what's that even short for? I guess? Is it short for Avatar? Are you breaking the fourth wall, Tiki? Is that it? Yeah, exactly. Me and myself are on the same page. I mean, Victoria doesn't really shorten to anything that's 3 letters all that well. I mean, you were... Well, actually, oh, what did I even give myself as my background in this? I don't even remember anymore. What was I? Merchant's daughter? I think that might have been it. Now I'm curious how that conversation would have gone for Iris. Shame I didn't really use Tiki on the main file that much. Maybe Abel just really likes garbage. Sure, yeah, whatever. Yes, the happy life, grumble, grumble, grumble. Something, 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 the ending. So apparently the Avatar is a shonen protagonist. Wow, you learn really quickly. Your ability is adaptability. And it turns out that's like the most dangerous thing on the face of the earth. So Maris is the most relatable character, I guess. Yeah, it's like your dad sucks or something. It's like your garbage dad keeps gambling your money away all the time. Oh, was Maris not doing that? I hadn't realized that they were formal, I guess, question mark? Anyway, here's Astrum. I believe this was also the result of How's Everyone, though we'll actually be seeing more of Astrum later. I know, surprising, right? I mean, I don't think we were really fighting at any of those points, not directly. There was no duel, except maybe at Kiasmer Bridge? It's like the one time it could have happened. Because of course the Avatar stays behind to keep the enemy at bay. We never did see what happened there. I don't know, maybe we fought Astrum. It's just all off screen, so it's not really something I've acknowledged or cared about. Alright, so, I'm actually going to be showing Killing Hardin twice. This is the bad ending run. But I figured I'd show how extremely good Paula is. Yeah, so, remember how Marth had a problem killing Hardin? Paula very much does not. She doesn't even have weapon advantage over him. They're both using lances, but God, she just chumps him so hard. So yeah, here's the bad ending. It's really not that interesting, because you have this scene in which everyone's like, hey, good job, we're not the heretic bishops, and then you get like half the... Actually no, I think the half the ending comes before this, but it's basically just the... Every character has their single line about how glad they are that the war is over, and then it's just the ending. You get half the good ending, and barely anything that tells you it's a bad ending. Now, I was wrong to a certain extent in the proper playthrough, because there is a line at the end here about how Marth has to fight Medius again. I just forgot that this happened because there is zero gravity to this whatsoever. Like, keep in mind, by this point, Marth's sisters and the rest of the clerics are fucking dead. But the game barely acknowledges that. It's like, oh yeah, Marth fights another war against Medius. So play the game again and get the proper ending. So I didn't have to include this, but here's the triangle attack against Hardin. Get wrecked, nerd. So, yeah. The bad ending is so not worth it. It's up on the non-com channel if you want to watch it in its entirety, but it's very redundant if you've already seen the good ending. Because it's mostly just that with a few divergences, none of which feel like they have proper weight, like I said. The clerics all die, but the ending doesn't mention that, it just mentions Marth fighting Medius again. Oh well. Anyway, we're actually nowhere near done with this episode, even though we've completed the second to last chapter that we'll be covering for the alternate playthrough, Gaiden playthrough, whatever you want to call it. Because we just have a whole lot of support conversations. Most of them, of course, are with Est because she's one of the newest characters, and she's also one of the final ones we get. There are, of course, a few more characters, like Midia's definitely a new one. Shima still has to get some time in, but Est has a lot of supports is the thing, whereas Medea and Shima only have a few. And speaking of Shima, here's Shima. Alright, well, what are you doing lounging then? No? No? Wow. What the hell did Gio even do to you? That's fine. This is like the biggest non-issue. I highly doubt that. Okay, well, Shima's got problems. Thanks, Jill. You know, I feel out of everyone, like, Minerva and Katri are probably, like, the least close, I guess. Because obviously Minerva and Paula are girlfriends, and Est is the youngest, means that Minerva looks after her a bit, and also, I don't know, probably reminds Minerva of her own sister, but Katri is just kind of there. It's kind of Katsuya's stat-wise as well, unfortunately. She is better than Saga, but also, like, Paula's extremely good, and Est is just made to be extremely good. She has an archetype named after her for that very reason. Katsuya is just real good with crits. And well, you see, the strength cap for a Pegasus Knight is far lower than a Wyvern Knight's. Though while Minerva and Katsuya might not seem that close, at least to me, this is one interesting thing about Minerva's character that doesn't come up much. I might have mentioned it already, but yeah, Minerva is a former Pegasus rider. But then she's like, well, I'm Macedon's princess, so Wyvern time, baby. It would make more sense, though, if this had the later games promotion system. Because if not for the fact that they added the Elysian Whip to this version of the game and made it more available than in Shadow Dragon, then all Pegasus Knights would become Wyvern Riders. So as a plot point, like, Minerva abandoning her Pegasus isn't really unusual. Because, like, Saga did in Shadow Dragon, as did any other potential Pegasus rider. If Wyvern Knight was just its own class in this game instead of a promotion, then it would make sense. Yeah, instead Macedon got McCallus, that's a shame. Look, Minerva, it's not your fault. It's just Martha's the magical cure-all that will make Macedon a country that is not just steeped in corruption. Like, to an excessive degree. Minerva blames herself a lot, and that's a shame. But, like, what is she supposed to do about Macedon? Like, if not for her and the White Wings, literally every general would be corrupt. We have never seen a not corrupt general other than Minerva or Paula. The rest of them are just fuckers. You cannot control what is broken in its entirety. Unless you're Martha, I guess. There were bad bandits, unlike the good bandits that were around, like Gonzales. Good old Gonzales. A fierce storm, or perhaps a dragon, I don't know. Weird comparison to make out of nowhere, I know. And no one solved it to this day. Anyway, yeah, that's the last Tiki conversation, in which it's implied that we also knew Tiki as well. Though, I don't know, I feel like you'd remember the green-haired girl with a very distinct tiara? I guess she was young, to be fair. Probably. I mean, I'd guess. Victoria, not Tiki. Tiki's always young. Perhaps the Avatar was just young enough to remember that story, but not the mysterious girl. I don't know. New blood is needed for our future, and, well, let's be honest. My garbage brother kind of ruined everything for us. What do you think? Well, that's the end of this bonus video. I'm gonna go die a cuteness now. See you next time.